If you're constantly overwhelmed, exhausted, and feel like you're running on empty, you need to listen to this. Burnout is real, and it's not just about stress. It's about your bioenergetic state. Basically, the energy you have to become the best version of you. If you're not aware of your bioenergetic state, it could be leaching all of the energy that you have to perform well. It is destroying your relationships, you're destroying your work, and destroying your ability to perform at your best in any moment in time. Hey, I'm Dr. Kien Vuu, triple board certified MD and performance and longevity expert, and I've guided hundreds of individuals and organizations reach their thrive state to achieve optimal health, longevity, and peak performance. And on this video, we'll go over what burnout is. What are the symptoms of burnout? Exactly where burnout comes from, and what you can do to beat burnout so that you can achieve higher energy levels and peak performance fast. Here's a quick statistic. A Gallup poll demonstrated that 76% of all workers feel burnout. Now, what exactly is burnout? Well, I want you to consider 5 elements of the human body and what burnout could mean and how burnout can manifest in yourself and your body. First, physical. Just feeling physically drained, not having the energy to do the things that you love to do, not being able to focus, not being able to have attention, not having the physical stamina to do your work. Next is emotional. Burnout can cause symptoms like anxiety, like depression, feeling gloom and doom all the time, these lower energetic feelings. Next is social. Being burnt out means that maybe you're not connecting well with the people in your life, whether it be your coworkers, whether it be your spouse or with your children. You bring this low energy and you're not able to fully connect like you would like to connect. Next is mental. Do you have brain fog? Are you unable to concentrate? Those are important aspects of burnout that could manifest in the mental realm. And then lastly, spiritual. Burnt out people feel like they don't have control of their life. Burnout people focus on themselves. And again, this could lead to symptoms of anxiety and depression. These are just some of the symptoms that burnout can cause. Now, what's on the flip side? If you are not burnt out, if you have a thrive state, if your bioenergetic state is high, you have the ATP or the energy in your body to support you being your best self. This gives you motivation. This gives you clarity. This puts you in optimal health and peak performance. So that's really the goal of what we want to do. There are 3 hidden causes of burnout, and it's not what you think. The first is mitochondrial dysfunction. The second is nervous system overload. And the last is a toxic workflow. So let's dive in a little bit deeper into each one of these things. Number 1, mitochondrial dysfunction. Well, what is the mitochondria? The mitochondria is actually known as the battery of the cell, or the ATP energy centers of the cell. And so mitochondria are important to create cellular energy, ATP. But not only that, mitochondria actually has a lot of functions. They function for heat production, for hormone production, for regulating stem cells and senescence. Mitochondria also play an important role in immunity, in inflammation, in metabolism. So mitochondria has all these different functions. Mitochondria not only make ATP, but mitochondria actually direct where the ATP is actually being used in the cell. So imagine your cell phone, and your cell phone is charged. If you've got a lot of programs that are running in the background, particularly programs you're not currently using, it drives up all the energy production, and your phone will have very little energy to actually do what you want it to do, which is why your phone slows down. This is very similar. Your mitochondria is constantly receiving signals from you. If you're doing things that are promoting stress and reactive oxygen species in your body, you are driving your mitochondria to increase inflammatory responses, basically to lower your immune system, to basically put your cell in a danger response. And you have very little energy to perform activities like growth and healing for you to actually feel better energetically. You ever have those moments where your phone just isn't functioning properly? You're wanting to send a text message or you're wanting to send an email, but it just stalls out. What's happening there? Well, it's very similar to what's happening in your body when your mitochondria is spending all its energy on trying to heal an infection or trying to fix or repair things that are happening in your body. All the ATP is driven to those processes, and less energy is used for growth, for healing, for you to be at your best state. Imagine that phone analogy. When you've got programs that are running in the background that are just constantly running, it is using up and draining the phone's battery so that the energy isn't available for you to be doing whatever you want to be doing in your phone at that time. This is a great analogy of how energy is being expended in our cells and what we need to be conscious of to actually reset our energy to be our best selves. So one of the major roles of the mitochondria is to produce cellular energy, or ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. ATP is the #1 energy currency used in all the processes in the cell. It is like the battery or energy currency of the cell. Now, how do we start to reset our mitochondria so that it is spending its energy on growth, on healing, and for us to become the best versions of ourselves? Well, I want you to think of the 5 to thrive. If you read my book, Thrive State, you'll understand the bioenergetic state, and you'll understand the 5 different areas in life that we can most master to be able to stay in our thrive state. So #1 is physical, and that includes sleep, movement, and nutrition. #1, are you getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep? If you're not, you're actually needing to more mitochondrial dysfunction. Next is moving. Just moving around every day, getting at least 10,000 steps every single day, being able to maybe lift some weights. If you don't have any weights, do some squats or do some push-ups or do some pull-ups. That movement is going to increase BDNF in your body, but it's also going to improve your mitochondrial health. Last is nutrition. Highly processed foods are going to damage your mitochondria. What do you want to focus on is focus on whole organic foods so that you don't damage your mitochondria, so that you could feed your mitochondria to be in your thrive state. So are you mindful of the stress that you're under? Now, in terms of mental, notice what you're focusing on, because what you focus on, you feel, and what you feel actually also sends signals to your mitochondria. So are you focused on things that you can control or the things that you can't control? Are you focused on things that you have versus things that you don't have? Are you focused on making progress, or are you focused on your failures? That is going to shift the amount of stress that you're feeling in your body. And as we'll get to in a second, there are also mindfulness techniques that you could perform throughout the day to mitigate your stress. There's a study that came out of Columbia University with Martin Picard. And what he did was he looked at mitochondrial function as it pertains to emotions. So they actually looked through a study population of caregiven women, and they asked them to track their emotions throughout the day, and they would basically draw blood and isolate white blood cells and study their mitochondrial function. What they found was astonishing. What they've discovered was actually women who reported feelings of anxiety, of stress, of overwhelm, of worry, actually had poorer mitochondrial function, whereas women who said that they felt connected, that felt gratitude, that actually felt like they had a purpose, actually had increased mitochondrial function. So are you mindful of your emotional home or the type of emotions that you're feeling throughout the day? Next is social. Recognize that as human beings, we are connected with each other. We actually have motor neurons that can actually feel what other people are feeling. So are you around toxic people? Are you around people that lift you up, or are you around people that bring you down? Are you there serving other people? Socially, recognize who are the people in your life that are draining your energy versus who in your life is uplifting your energy. And lastly is spiritual or purpose. If you find yourself stuck in feelings of anxiety, worry, depression, I invite you to think, are you focused on you, or are you focused on how you can serve? If you're focused on you, a lot of times our part of the brain called the default mode network is wired for survival, wired for fear, and they're wired for negative emotional thoughts. And when you're focused on you, you're focused on your own survival. That leads to those negative energetic feelings, that leads to stress, that increases reaction species, which actually lowers your mitochondrial function. But get this, if you are focused on the things that bring you joy, if you're focused on the things that actually bring you life, on the things that make you feel alive, and then you're sharing that with other people. Well, my friends, that is really purpose. And so what we're discovering in science is that feeling of purpose. Purpose is what scientists call eudaimonic happiness, or the happiness that you feel when you feel deeply connected with other people, the happiness you feel when you feel like you have a purpose. So if you're constantly stressed out about what you need to do, how you are parenting, what is in your bank account, you're focused on you. But if you're focusing more on your love and who you are as an authentic person and sharing who you are with other people, you actually improve your mitochondrial function. So how do you start to reset it? Well, I would audit your life physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. And ask yourself, are you doing the type of things that are draining your energy from each one of these categories? Or are you doing things that lift up your energy? The next thing to consider for burnout is nervous system overload. So you might be aware that there are two main states of the nervous system. The parasympathetic state, which is the rest digest state. In that state, our body is able to grow, to heal, for us to achieve calm and zen. Then we've got the sympathetic state, the state that gets turned on when there is a saber-toothed tiger chasing us down. So this state is the fight or flight or freeze or fawn mode. Now, that mode of the nervous system also actually activates genes that turns on inflammation in your body. So inflammatory proteins are circulating in your body, and your mitochondria are actually directing the ATP towards creating more of that inflammatory response. That takes away energy from your immune system. So the fight or flight mode also decreases your immune system. Those two things together basically lead cells not to have the energy for growth and for healing, but basically has your cells hunker down for survival and protection, not giving you peak performance. So the question is, are you aware of what state your nervous system is throughout the day? Now, if you are constantly just solely focused on work, I would probably say that your brains are in the beta wave, or probably in a mode where they actually think running away from a saber-toothed tiger. This is basically your brain thinking that you're in danger when you're out trying to solve problems, etc. So what do you need throughout the day are moments to include, or moments to actually bring in the parasympathetic mode. And what can you do? Well, I love doing breath work, and a very simple breath work technique you can use is 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold there for 4 seconds, and then actually breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and then out as if you were blowing through a straw for a count of 8. When you're focusing on that long exhale, what you're doing is you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system. Other breathing techniques you can consider is box breathing, where you basically breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And you can do that for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds at a time. That's really going to relax you. And the last thing to consider is toxic workflow. Basically, this is just working throughout the day without times for break. This is putting your brain in the beta mode. It's putting your body's nervous system in the fight or flight or sympathetic mode throughout the day. Our body is not meant to function at 100% all day. Imagine the best athletes still need rest throughout the day, and our bodies are best served to work in maybe 60 to 90-minute increments. So what can you do instead? Well, for every 60 or 90-minute block, include 5 or 10 minutes to reset and recharge. What can you do during that time? Well, you can listen to a song, you can go out in nature, walk in your bare feet and ground to the ground, or you can do one of my favorite things, which is yoga nidra. They're basically 5 to 15-minute type of rest relaxation that you can do, where you're basically focusing on your breath and focusing your attention on different parts of your body. And this is like a power nap. And this is basically a way to hack your napping because it instantly boosts your energy. So to recap, these are the 3 hidden causes for burnout. Number 1, mitochondrial dysfunction. 2, nervous system breakdown or overload, and number 3, a toxic workflow. Hey, if you're liking this content so far, go ahead, like this video, comment, and share this video with your friends and family members. That's going to help the show grow. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification button so that you never miss any of these videos. Now that you know the causes of burnout and some quick, easy fixes, what is something you can do? A simple burnout recovery routine that you can do throughout the day. Well, the first thing you can do actually starts in your morning, is having a good morning routine. So the first thing I do every day when I wake up is I drink a large glass of water. You can drink anywhere from 8 to 16 ounces. I like to add a little Himalayan sea salt or electrolytes for my water. The next thing I'll do is I'll hop on my rebounder. Or if I don't have my rebounder on me, I'll just do about 100 hops. What that will do is it will actually move the energy in my body. It moves the circulation both in my blood vessels and my lymphatic system. The next thing I'll do is I'll walk outside and do a short walk with the early morning sunlight rays that hit my eyes, that hit my body. What this is going to do is it's going to reset my circadian rhythm, and it is also going to increase feel-good hormones in my body like serotonin and endorphins. And the last thing I'll do is my early morning breath work. That includes breathing, but focusing intention and attention on what I want to feel during the day. And this is really building that muscle of gratitude, building the muscle of becoming your best self and just feeling that. Now, if you want access to my early morning routine breathwork, go to thrivestatestarter.com to receive free longevity and peak performance resources. So that's the morning routine. The next thing is just making sure you give yourself these mini resets throughout the day. I already mentioned one great biohack I like to do is yoga nidra. You can go on YouTube and search yoga nidra, and there are 5, 10-minute, 15-minute versions of those. Do some box breathing, do some 4-7-8 breathing. Those are things that you could do during that time period. What I also love to do is laughter yoga. This is an exercise where I incorporate laughter. Sometimes it's fake, sometimes it's not. But here's the thing, the body can't tell the difference between real laughter and fake laughter. So if you're doing it, when you're breathing, when you're moving, you're actually shifting energy in your body, and you're increasing the feel-good hormone endorphins in your body that is actually a natural painkiller. To learn more about laughter yoga, feel free to Google it. There's probably lots of laughter yoga YouTube videos, and you could even search for a laughter YouTube video that is actually created by me. And the last thing you can do throughout the day to fight burnout is how you go to sleep. So I typically like to eat before 6 p.m. so that my body's not spending ATP on digesting rather than rejuvenating my body in the evening. I cut off blue light and screens before 8 p.m. every single day. At night, create a routine where you really get a chance to relax. For some people, it's journaling. For some people, it's reading, but not putting yourself in a sympathetic state. What I also love to do is create a time for myself where I do some 4-7-8 breathing, and I'm putting myself in a state where I'm like, give my body the energy to relax, to rejuvenate, and actually look forward to a very restful sleep. What that will do is it will prime my body that it is safe for me to sleep. And that's so important when we're thinking about the things that we still have left to do, the things that we didn't do, the things that are keeping us up at night. Again, how easy is it to sleep with a saber-toothed tiger next to you? So when you are off thinking of all those things, that's basically what's happening. That's why people can't fall asleep. This is why people wake up during sleep. So having that routine is very helpful. Now, if you want to consider some supplements that you could take during sleep, you can consider magnesium or glycine, which is really going to help with relaxation. So in addition to eating whole and unprocessed foods, you could actually supplement with some things to improve mitochondrial health. One of my favorite supplements for mitochondrial health is actually ubiquinol. What is ubiquinol? Well, ubiquinol is actually the active form of something called CoQ10. CoQ10 is actually a molecule in your mitochondria, and it helps with energy production. As we age, our levels of CoQ10 and our ability to turn CoQ10 into ubiquinol actually decreases. So supplementing with ubiquinol is actually something that is really great for mitochondrial health. There are actually tons of studies demonstrating that supplementing with ubiquinol is good for cardiovascular health, good for longevity, good for fertility, and good for overall well-being. If you want to find out more about ubiquinol or where you can find it, go to ubiquinol.org. So there you have it, my friends. Burnout is a performance killer. I would say that when I was burnt out, I had chronic disease. I was overweight, I was diabetic, I had high blood pressure. When I was burnt out, I also didn't have the energy to be the best version of myself for the important people in my life. Being burnt out, I couldn't approach my relationships with love and connection and be really present with people. They had the lowest version of me, the lower energetic version of me. It also affected my performance at work. I was constantly tired throughout the day as a full-time medical doctor. I was drinking 6 cups of coffee. I was drinking Monster energy drinks and Red Bull just to keep things going. And so I had all these band-aids that were covering up all the burnout. And, I took little steps of the things that I've discussed in this video to actually shift things around and shifted me into the Thrive state. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want additional resources on how to get to the Thrive state and to beat burnout, go to mythrivestate.com/toolkit. It's a free toolkit that you can use that has journal prompts, ways to audit your life in the areas of life that matter most, all these things for you to address and be conscious of the things that you are choosing that are either burning you out or putting you into the Thrive state. Also, if you want to bring more energy, vitality, and more performance into your organizations, check out kienvuu.com to find out more information of how I bring precision medicine into workplace performance and wellness. If you happen to be a leader of an organization and want to bring these tools as well as the tools that I have in the precision health space to bring more energy, more vitality, more productivity and performance to the people at work, go to kienvuu.com. Like always, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe and share this video with your friends and family members. And remember always, you are your best medicine.